Okay.
Is there any background music that's supposed to play right now?
Welcome to the Murder Muslim Podcast.
Hey, by the way, bye.
By the way, what?
Am I getting paid for this? Samantha was supposed to call you.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I got her.
Oh, you got...
I got her contact information.
You're her agent? Oh, she's your agent too?
Yeah.
Dang. So today we have Belqees Razak. Welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How you doing?
Good, alhamdulillah. Am I supposed to look at the camera or look at you?
You can look wherever the heck you want.
All right.
That's a little weird, but
Okay, no.
since
Look at you.
I'm talking to you. But if you look at the camera, that's a little like, okay.
I'll look sometimes. I won't do it the whole
Like
time.
imagine if I'm doing this. Talk to me.
Have you seen The Office?
Yeah, I have.
That's why I want to look at the camera.
Oh, yes.
I'll do that. Guys, watch out for me if I look at you like while he's talking.
Like, what is she saying right now? Cool, man. How you been?
Good, alhamdulillah.
Yeah?
Thanks for having me on your new podcast. This is cool.
Of course. Thank you.
Very
Thank
proud,
you.
proud of him. MashaAllah.
I made sure to disinfect every single thing.
Because he knows I would not be here right now. Sorry, I keep looking at the camera.
I even disinfected the drink that you're drinking.
No way. There's bleach in here? So it tastes like... Oh, yeah,
Hey,
by the
drink
way,
bleach.
I've been waiting to ask you.
Yes.
Where's my bubble tea?
Oh.
Is that only for certain guests?
Certain guests.
Oh, okay.
Privileged guests.
Well, I'm fine with my LaCroix.
They paid us $100 million to say that.
That's why I'm doing this show.
Yeah. I had to disinfect everything, knowing how OCD you are.
Yeah. This is COVID.
Also for your safety.
COVID.
For your safety.
COVID.
Yeah.
Even then, it's still, we're not wearing masks. So inshallah, we're safe right now.
Yep.
Inshallah, we're healthy.
Alhamdulillah. How's life? What you been up to?
Alhamdulillah. Just COVID, chilling.
Yeah. Chilling?
Same thing as everybody else in the world right now.
You're remote?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Thank
Yeah,
God for that. I'm able to be remote.
Yeah.
I get more time with Abbas, my son.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was a challenge, definitely a challenge. I think every parent can understand
Yeah.
with little kids that being home, trying to juggle work and maintaining a house and feeding everybody and taking care of a toddler who's still developing, and you got to be careful what they're doing and how they're spending their time. It's been a lot. It still is. It's still stressful, but it's also a blessing. It's easier now because I've figured out a routine, and then also it's a blessing to get to see him because he would have been with my mom this time and I would be in the office. So it's nice, right? You get to spend time with him. He's talking. He'd be really mad at me right now if he knew I was here without him.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset that he didn't come.
Yeah. Well, had I known, they could have watched him.
I'm going to interview him.
You should, dude. I swear. You'll get so famous. My son is the best.
Buzz.
Mashallah.
Yeah, he's a cutie.
He's
Mashallah.
a good dude, yeah.
He's a good...
He is a good dude.
Yes, he's a very good dude.
He is. How have you been?
Dude, I was, working from home. Initially, it was like, so I'm very productive. Like the whole corporate thing. Yeah. And I was, and I think I still am, but I think I'm too productive now.
Okay.
To the point where it's, I'll log in at like 7, 8 o'clock, work until like 6-ish.
But is it like straight work? Like, do you take breaks? Are you on your phone? Are you walking around? Are you?
No, bro. I mean,
you're literally
when I need to, use the restroom, that's my break.
Yeah, that's too much.
But like when I was in the office, like even the meetings that you have.
Yeah.
The meetings are, you walk into a different room, like you actually step away from the computer.
Yeah.
Right? Here, I think because of the constant screen time that I'm getting.
Yeah.
I ended up investing in like those blue light glasses.
Oh.
So I got them. I don't know if it's gonna work.
It's taking over your life, bro.
So apparently it's for like gamers. Those people who game like 24 hours a day. So I'm gonna see if it works, because when I was getting off of work, I legit would go to my brother and be like, yo, like, I need to take a nap, so you need to chill out. Right?
Yeah.
So I would just take it. I would actually feel I mean, I still do. Like, I feel fatigued. It's not like I got dry eyes or anything.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel fatigued. And I'm like...
See, that's the thing. You got to set up a routine. I've never been, you know, I hate, like, I don't know if I've ever told you, but I hate cardio. Like, I don't like running. I can't go on a treadmill for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'll probably like burn out after 2 minutes. True story. I'm not even lying.
Basically, you don't like walking.
I hate it. No, I hate it. But then my mom and my dad, they walk. My mom has always been a walker. So she wanted to start walking. And I think I suggested, I was like, let's just do it, you know, to try to get them all active, because my mom's always been at home, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. My dad has also worked in the office, and but he does field work too. Like, he manages construction, so he walks on fields, and it's like miles long.
Yeah.
So obviously with him home with COVID, like, he's not moving as much.
Yeah.
And he moves around the house. He's a workaholic, but mashallah. But the thing about him is that he needs to do like relaxing workouts, which is why I'm asking you, like, for me, I started walking with my mom, and we're like here and there. It's not consistent. Some weeks are consistent, but it's actually amazing, like, how I'm doing brisk walking. I'm not like doing like crazy, you know, fast walking or like running, which I would like to build up to one day, inshallah. But still, it's therapeutic. Like, and I feel like with these conditions and being used to like being out and about, or being used to, even in the office, we don't realize how many steps you get just going from one place to another. Yeah. But here, like, you're not the only one. I've heard many people, like even my own coworkers, they'll just literally go from their desk to their bed, and then they'll be brought food. And it's unhealthy, one. Two, mentally, for your mental health, it's not good for you. Just do something. Set some time apart and go outdoors. I feel like we're missing, like right now it's going to be winter in like a few months.
Yep.
Take advantage of it.
I have a lot of, well, you know, our department is undergoing a lot of different changes. So I've taken on a lot of responsibility. Yeah. And, you know, and I'm just try to put in the work, right? But I think you're right. I think there's like, I've blocked off time on my schedule. Yeah. Like, literally, like, block, do not schedule, right? Yeah. And that time I just step away, right? And just phone, because some, you know, team members have my phone number. I'm like, phone, turn it over, right? Like, shut out the screens and just like step away. Because I think the screen time is what's killing me, right? Yeah. Like, in terms of just all that blue light, right? And listen, I sound like an expert. I don't know shit about blue light.
Okay. Neither do I.
But people told me, like, okay, it reduces your dry eyes, right? Your headaches. Like, I didn't get dry eyes or headaches. Yeah. But I just feel tired. So I'm gonna try it out. I haven't tried it out fully yet. I was wearing glasses yesterday the whole day because I was on the computer, just, you know, laptop. But we'll see. But other than that, I mean, I think working remotely, it's I relate it to like Dean more, you know. Yeah. And just having a routine, right? Okay. Like when I was in the office, right? I would actually like read Namaz, right? Pray. Yeah. I would shut my office. I mean, alhamdulillah, I had an office. Yeah. So, you know, shut the blind and, you know. Yeah, pray. You know, 5 minutes, just drop, you know, dhuhr. And it felt pretty good, you know, walking around, you're active, you're getting more steps in. Here, like, it's either I'm away from my desk to either use the restroom or like pray. Yeah. Right. And then back to the screen. Right. I'm like eating lunch at the thing, right? Yeah. And even our HR guys, they're like, don't do that, right? Like they're saying, like, don't.
Oh, like, yeah, they're trying to push you to be normal,
to
like go
take
out.
Lunch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I think finding a routine of it all, I think eventually, I mean, I'm really hopeful that things kind of go back to normal, inshallah. Right? Yeah. Because we're just creatures that we need interaction. You know, I don't think we were built for remote work.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, just relationships. Yeah. You know, like, you need to be close to people. You need to hang out with people, whether it's your immediate family, your friends.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And now, like...
And even, like, and it's totally okay. Sorry to cut you off. No, but when you're saying immediate family, friends, like, even when you're with your immediate family, you'll need a break from that, too. Like, it's okay to doesn't mean like you hate them or you can't stand them, and you're grateful for them, of course, being here and being healthy, alhamdulillah. But just I think you need to switch up your routine for your own well-being, right? Like, so it's okay to need to see friends. I mean, I was like, you know how paranoid I am about all this COVID stuff, but like there were times where I have seen friends, right? And I've actually gone more frequently now, but obviously do it safely, right? So even if this does last long, right? I mean, don't become hopeless in it and just find, I think the problem and the challenges is that people need to find, like, you need to make a routine in the current situation. Like, given that this is going to be here forever, like, make a routine for yourself. Okay, like, if you're, once in a while, set something up with friends, but be safe about it, right? Or if you don't want to work at home, grab your laptop, go out to an outdoor coffee shop that has Wi-Fi and sit there and work from there. Switch up your surroundings, do what you need, right? Like, to keep whatever you're missing out, whatever is bringing you down. But yeah, that's what I've started to do, because, and another thing is, like you mentioned, the spirituality part of it is like, take advantage of this time that we're here, right? Like where we're not in an office where we have to shut the door for 5 minutes and hurry before the next person needs you. But like a friend of mine, may Allah bless her, she we, during Ramadan, we were talking about like picking up a new habit, right? Like, what have we always wanted to do that we've always put on the back burner? So one of the things for me was Quran, right? Like, I've never in my life, like, I've wanted to sit there and read through it, whether it was Arabic or the English portion of it. So she helped me in giving me idea of how to be consistent with it, because I've done it, I've started it, like your podcast with, with what's his name, with Azim. You were talking about how you can start many projects, right? Finishing. By the way, guys, the bathroom is not done. Oh, man. Just FYI.
Man, oh my God. I'm going to have to cut every single piece of video evidence out.
So it's not done. No, but I'm just kidding. I'm guilty. I think we're all guilty of having all these goals and plans. It's not done because
all you guys filmed the podcast
we're
on the same day.
We're not talking about that anymore.
It's the same day.
It's the same
Azim
day.
was here an hour ago.
He's still here. No, but...
And so was Saf, and so was the other guy. And
are all those people going before me? You're not airing this? Is not live? What?
Surprise.
I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But yeah, so she gave me a good tip. And this is a tip I'll share with you. It's up to you if you want to take it. If anybody wants to take it. Is incorporate this thing that you want to take on, right? Like, for me, it was just reading the Quran. It wasn't like you have to read 50 pages a day or you have to do this. It was just read it. Like, even if it's a page, read one page. And this time around, I was like, let me do it in English, right? Because it's like applicable. It won't be something where I'm reading. I do need to brush up. Like, I read Quran like a child. Like, I know the alphabet. I go like a mile an hour. It's embarrassing. No, but I want to brush up on it. Like, there's instances in your life where you're going to read it, strides. Right?
You're making small strides.
Yeah, but I mean, I want to be able to do it on my own. Like, if I go to a Khatam Quran and I can't, I don't feel confident that I will be able to finish it. And if it's for like an important thing, like somebody passed away or something like that, I don't want to be like the reason why it didn't get complete,
it's
right?
Like the 29 chapters are done.
Yeah, and then it's my fault. It is. It is. Seriously, I'm not even joking. So yeah, but anyhow, I wanted to focus on the English portion of it now, and inshallah, the Arabic is another goal that I have. But just doing it. So she said, tie it to something you do every day, right? Okay. So you pray 5 times a day, right? Like it depends on what you do, right? So let's say you do your 5 daily prayers. So after Dhuhr, or after the and Asr, if you're, so that's where I open it and I read. Even if there's some days where I can read like 6 pages, I just sit there and I just keep going. There's some days where I can just read like 1, and then like you don't feel guilty because you're not doing something that's wajib, right? You're doing something that's like, so even if you get a little bit in or you get a lot in, even if you miss the day, make it up tomorrow. But that guilt feeling, like, when you miss a prayer or you're late for a prayer, I get that with not reading. Yeah,
and I think a lot of it has to do with,
but it holds me accountable. Like, I'm not worried about the negative part or the guilt factor. It's just I like that feeling I get because it holds me accountable to pick it back up and not be like, oh, it's okay, oh, it's fine, right?
Also, I think it's important to chip away at it. Just chip away.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what's 6 months of just half a page.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Like, and you don't even have to don't set timelines. That's one thing. Like, don't ever set a timeline. Like, I'm not like, sometimes I look at how far I am, but not to like, I just see what page I'm on. And you just like, you're like, man, like, I can't believe it feels like I just started yesterday and I'm already this far. So alhamdulillah, like it's nice. So any goal you have, dude, even if it's not spiritual, but if it is, like, take advantage of it now. Like, I started this during COVID times, right? If I was in the office, I wouldn't be able to do this. And there have been times where I've, done things in the daytime that fall during prayer times, or right after I pray, I got to rush out.
Right.
And I'll realize that day, like, oh, I didn't read it. So those are things that, yes, you can change it and be like, okay, after Maghrib and Isha, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But
you know what? You mentioned an interesting thing.
Yeah.
About like praying and then heading out. Mm-hmm. I want to say something on that.
That's okay, go ahead.
I think a lot of folks, including myself, for a very long time, did whatever the heck I wanted to do, right? Namaz, prayer, had no foundation in my schedule.
Yeah.
Right? So if I wanted to watch a movie, right? Avengers Endgame is coming out, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, the showing is at 7:00, right?
Yeah.
And it's a freaking 4-hour-long movie.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, if you're not in that mode.
What do you mean?
I'm saying, like, if you're saying, like, when you're not mentally in that mode where you understand the significance.
Yeah.
You're gonna do.
But that's what I'm saying, right? I think it's important to. There's so many blessings of structuring your day around prayer, rather than other way around, right? Because, like, when I was in college, right, we would have, whatever, outings, dinners, blah blah blah, movies, right, events, and sometimes some of the people that I knew, right, hung out with, they'd be like, oh, I can't do it at that time, right? And they wouldn't necessarily say why, but then when things just off the cuff, we would plan something for that day. Yeah. Like, hey, let's go watch a movie tonight. And, somebody would say, oh, 8:00, right? They'd be like, let's go to 9, right? Like 8, like Maghrib comes around 8. And I'd be like, oh, interesting, right? Yeah. Like, they would structure their day around namaz time. So they wouldn't plan things where it would interfere. Like, if you're in a movie, in a theater, for 3 hours straight. Yeah. And during those 3 hours, you miss Asr and Maghrib. Yeah. For those people, that's a problem.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and I think that's pretty dope.
MashaAllah, I think even for somebody that does their prayers, like, that's an amazing mentality to have, because the thing is, like, you gotta achieve that. It's not something where you can just wake up and be like, you can sit there and be like, okay, from now on, tomorrow, I'm gonna start doing my prayers.
It takes work.
For me, I needed to understand it, right? Like, I do better following things when I understand, right? Like, if somebody comes and tells you, don't do this, and you're like, okay, right? Like, somebody important to you, like you're, a parent, a spouse, a sibling, whatever, tells you, don't do this, and you're just like, okay, sure. But if you understand, right? Like, for example, I grew up in a household where we were taken to Sunday school and we were taught, right? From a young age. My mom has taken us, and I understood what was required, like the basics. And did I do them? Did I follow them, like, to the T when I was at that age and even growing up? No, I didn't. Like, there was a lot that I needed to, like, understand for myself, right? Yeah. And unfortunately make mistakes, learn through, experiences sometimes that I'm, like, some things not proud of, but you learn that way. And I probably... And people go through waves, I think. Like, from what I've heard, from me personally, I go through waves where I'm like strong and I understand, and I'm just like, no, I'll do this, or like, I have to pray on time, or I have to do this and that. Even that, I'm struggling with praying on time, right? But, like, just getting the prayers done, right? Like, I go through waves sometimes, and I think that's known too. Like, it's a given that people are going to have times where their faith is strong and times where their faith, they're tempted or they're weakened. Yeah. But I think that to get to that level, to achieve that level where you're, like, planning your day around your prayers, that shows that, like, you understand the significance, right? Like, where it doesn't matter,
or
like,
also that you give a shit, right? Like, you actually care, right? Like, you want to actually listen. And I think like, for me, I think piety or righteousness, right? It doesn't, for me, there are no qualifications, right? Like, it's just a pursuit.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, I think the pursuit of perfection, because we're not perfect, we're never going to be perfect, or, we have problems, we have our issues, and we're sinners, right? So the pursuit of doing things the right way, pursuit of perfection is perfection, knowing that you're not going to get there, right? So like the folks, I don't think that a lot of folks that are religious, right? Like they're not necessarily, everybody's got problems, right?
Yeah.
And I think there are phases, but I want to actually come back to something a little lighter.
Okay, go ahead. Like what?
Like, what's the latest conspiracy theory that you...
Listen, that's not lighter. That's heavier. You all don't want to know about this.
Is COVID in the air? Is it in the air?
I can't say right now. It's still top secret.
Oh, top secret?
Listen, man. These are not conspiracy theories. These are, you know what? You're those people where like you laugh about it and then next year you're like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
How did that happen?
I believe it too.
No, yeah, definitely not. I think I've toned down my conspiracy theory days.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, you know what? YOLO. No, not really. I'm still a conspiracy theorist.
So you're again, for those of you who don't know,
Afghanistan.
there you go, yeah. Bachim.
Yeah, for Kashif knows some really weird Farsi.
To Afghanistan Aston.
Exact. There you go. Point proven.
You are Afghanistan.
Bale. Man, ma Afghanistan.
Ma Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Ma Afghanistan.
No, Shema Afghanistan. Shema Pakistanistan. Pakistani.
Yeah. Why you gotta say it like that?
I'm just telling you what you are, bro.
Why you gotta say it like in a like
Pakistani.
Like,
No, I'm just trying to make you guys sound strong.
Oh, is that what it is?
You guys are strong, I swear. My son is half Pakistani.
You don't have to validate.
My son is half Pakistani. Okay.
Yeah. How is it married to a Pakistani guy?
It's no different than being married to a Muslim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
am proud of like Afghanistan. I'm not like, when I say proud, I mean like I'm not ashamed of my heritage. I like my culture. I love my culture. But I'm not like it depends. I think somebody that's like super cultural might be like have something to say about it.
Do Atan daily together?
Yeah, and Buzkashi as well. We do Buzkashi.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Buzkashi, for those of you who don't know, can you explain Buzkashi?
Yes, you ride on an animal and you try to just capture the other dead animal from each other.
You basically play polo with a dead animal.
This is how the warriors back in the day, the real OGs. Yeah. That's how they played sports, okay? Yeah, so we're just keeping that alive.
You're the real OG.
I am, actually. That's a very good
You really are.
Good observation there.
I remember.
Why do you think so?
Because
are we joking? Are we being serious?
We're being very serious.
Why?
Because homegirl here can drop the lyrics to Notorious Thugs.
Listen, this is supposed to be a religious show.
Biggie. No, it's not a religious show at all. I have
no idea what it is for me. That's why I'm on it.
Okay, we're gonna have to cut that, end that podcast right there.
Armed and dangerous. Yes, I can. Yeah, mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to do it on camera. Listen, these are things I do around like my friends and family.
Okay.
I don't know who's watching this. I may not.
Everybody.
Okay.
Friends and family are watching it, so you can do it for them.
Yeah, but there's also other machines watching this.
Machines?
Yes.
Oh, man. Wow.
Anyways.
I like your hair. Your hair looks nice.
Oh, God. I knew this was going to happen. You want to talk about this?
We can talk about it.
Let's talk about this.
It's all up to you.
We'll talk about it briefly.
Briefly?
Yeah.
No briefly.
There's not too much I can spill on this, It's still
like
personal.
A personal thing.
A little bit,
we don't have to talk about it.
We'll talk about it a little bit. It's okay. What do you want to say?
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
what if we did this for like 20 minutes? Like, I don't talk about it.
Yeah. No, yes. Your hair is visible.
Yes. And it wasn't like that last year.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was not.
And I think I've known you for quite some time.
Yeah.
And so I knew you prior to, a head scarf.
Yeah.
And then during that, and then after that.
Yes. comment on it?
I mean, what do you have to, what's your journey been?
So my journey has been, okay, so first and foremost, all right, I don't want to say anything. This is going to be on camera. This is going to be, existent for a while. Say whatever the
heck you want, dude.
I know, but my shame is in front of God. So basically what I'm saying is that I'm not proud of the decision of taking it off, right? Last year.
Okay.
The moment that
by the way, that's your decision.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I get.
Like, I'm not here to validate your feelings or anything like that.
Yeah, and I honestly, like, with all due respect, I don't care about what anybody thinks or says, right? Okay. Because I myself already feel a certain way about it, right? Okay. So my view on this is just, it was a moment of being vulnerable that I made this decision to take it off. It was actually like literally an instantaneous decision. But in retrospect now, I'm just kind of like, it's taught me a lot of things, right? Like myself, my own experiences. It's just that sometimes, one, don't judge people, right? Like, do not judge people if they're taking it off, putting it on. Don't judge people for anything, right? Like, oh, that's a bad person. Like, you can, there's a fine line between like judging people in a sense that like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be around certain people or environments because it affects me, right? And I could say that I do that in a sense, right? Like, I don't want to be hanging around people that have a certain lifestyle that doesn't match up with mine, because I just feel like
you're not about the club scene no more.
No.
Not that you ever were.
No. But that's a good example. So for example, I have friends who do things, right? They tell me stories that I'm just like, you're annoying, and I'll say it to their face. I'll tell them what I think, but I'm not that. So what I mean by don't judge people is like, you don't know, right? Like, people, our cultures, our people were annoying, man. Like, we talk, like, somebody breaks up, somebody gets a divorce, somebody gets, I don't know, man. Like, somebody moves out from their family's house and gets their own house with their spouse. Like, people always have something to say.
Everybody's got. Yeah. Always people, there's a lot of smack talking.
Yeah. Right? And I've never been one to enjoy it, to be completely honest with you. Yeah. Maybe that's why, like, I have a small group of girlfriends because I just can't stand it, right? That's I don't rare. Like, yeah, it is, but it's just like, it's pointless. What's it going to do for you?
So you're like a dude, basically.
I am a dude. I'm a man. Just wanted to tell you guys. But yeah, so it taught me that, right? In a sense that, and unfortunately, I feel like sometimes we go through that, right? Like, we have to suffer, or something has to happen to us where we're like, yeah, like, people are probably talking about this. So like, it's not fair. Like, I'm a good person, right? Like, I shouldn't be talked about, or like, they don't know what made me do this, right? And from the outside perspective, I'm the bad guy, right? Like, so these thoughts happen in your head, right? No, it doesn't. Okay. I think about it. I do think about it. I'm like, oh, but as I just said, care about what I really don't care what people think of me. I don't care, because I believe that Allah is watching everything. And I believe that He, inshallah, will forgive me for certain things. And another thing is, so going back to just the whole hijab concept, right? Like, I haven't been, like, my heart hasn't been content with my decision, right? Like, if anything, I'm waiting to wear it again in a manner where I'm not revolving this around a person, an individual, an event. When I started wearing it, I had the idea of hijab. I was just like, okay, like, I should start wearing it. Like, I want to wear it. But something happened where I was like, kind of like in a desperate situation, praying for somebody else's health. And in that time I was like, let me just, like, I just kind of was like, I'm just going to like do everything now, like do everything the right way. And yeah.
Okay. And but I think that's noble, that's noble intent.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Like, you want to do everything the right way as it's understood.
Exactly.
Publicly.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, we all know alcohol is haram.
Yeah. So for me, hijab was wajib, right? Like, let me do it.
So it's commonly accepted that, hey, that's a good thing to do.
Exactly.
Or it's commonly accepted that you should abstain away from becoming an alcoholic.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So is that like?
That's what my mind. Yeah, that's what my mindset was at the time, and it was just kind of like a promise that I had made, which makes me feel even guiltier, right? Because me taking off my hijab was not like, hey, I go back on my ideologies and I don't believe it's wajib for a girl to wear it. no judgment to anybody. I mean, look at myself. No judgment to anybody that's not wearing it. And this goes back to it being, I think it's obviously a woman's choice, right? I think I personally believe that you need to understand. This is me, right? Everything I do, I need to understand it. I want to, like, it has to be logical, right? Like, but of course with religion, I just accept Allah's word, right? So if that I'm not like, I'm not going to argue, but I will question it, right? I will question. If I'm curious, I want to understand it, right? I want to know why we have to do certain things. And I'm not perfect. Obviously, I don't do everything by the book. And inshallah, I hope that I can work towards that.
Yeah.
But yeah, with hijab, it's just like it's a very sensitive topic for me with myself. I don't care what other people say about it. I really don't. Yeah. And it's kind of ironic. Like, I think people who I'm closer with didn't, maybe to make me feel comfortable, like they didn't bring it up. Like it's just kind of awkward in a sense because like you're coming back out and nobody said anything about it. They're just like, oh, hey, what's up? And I'm like, do I look different? Like, no, it's nice of them because I know that they're trying not to make me feel uncomfortable.
Really?
However, with the character that I have, I appreciate
feedback.
But I also appreciate like somebody kind of checking me. Like telling me like, hey, like,
hey, what happened?
I've had people tell me when I started wearing hijab, I had people mention, what do they say? Some people are like, oh, I liked you better without it. Like, you look prettier without it. And I'm like, bro, that doesn't help. Yeah. But can I, like, one thing I will mention I give hijabis like so much props, guys, because it's hard. It's hard with this like society and with like social media and just the pressures of like trying to fit in or not even just trying to fit in, but like even as a hijabi, I'm pretty sure majority of them will tell you that it's been hard. Like, you want it, like you look pretty, like done up if you were to do it to that extent, right? Like if you didn't have the hijab on and you could wear whatever, do however much makeup you want to, like, yeah, you could easily be at the same level, right? And obviously like now.
Same level, what do you mean?
I don't know, like.
Of attention?
No. I'm talking about girls, like looks wise, right? Like these even social media, like, influencers,
we're talking about like girls like being like comparing each other to each other.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like in a sense where like it's just nice to be able to like obviously dress up and look pretty and do this and do that. And then now we're like in a time where everybody's flaunting it on social media, right? Like it's the thing, right? What? To put up posts of yourself or to be like a influencer or to just, I don't know, just to doll up and post everything, right? Right. That's what girls like do, right? Yeah, it's the norm these days. We didn't have that.
Isn't modest fashion a thing too, or no?
It is. But I'm just saying, like, obviously, you're beautiful. Like, there are so many beautiful women.
Beautiful from the inside.
Yeah, no, I'm saying even with modest fashion, a girl's face is beautiful, right? Her hijab, the way you do your hijab, the way you dress, you can still be beautiful. But what I'm saying is that obviously, like, a woman can show her hair as well and then even pop up. There's a reason why what the hijab is also like, it goes with like being, acting proper, but it's also covering your hair. It's covering like you're dressed, in modest wear.
So apparently,
yes.
By the way, I just thought of this.
Yep.
There was a gentleman who was on.
Okay.
And randomly he just like as a tangent, he just kind of mentioned hijab. And we're just talking about like how, like rulings and halal and haram and blah, 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 right? And he's just like, hijab is actually meant for both genders.
Yeah.
Right? So like for men, what is the hijab? Hijab is to lower your gaze, right? So, I thought that was pretty profound. It's not just, hey, put a hijab on, right? Like, it's a lot deeper than that.
Exactly. But I feel like it's not mentioned enough, right? The women's hijab is mentioned often, but the men's hijab is not. But I mean, anyhow, whatever. At the end of the day, I think I just want to give props to women who do observe it and who have the strength to keep it on. I've had times where where even before being under pressure, being under like the stress or whatever situation I was in that caused me to make this decision. Prior to that, it was difficult. I mean, even like every day when you're getting ready, you're like, oh, okay, like maybe I can wear, oh yeah, maybe I'll let this slide and I can wear this outfit. And maybe it may not be the most like the longest shirt or the baggiest pants, or, you know what I mean? Like, but it's difficult to try to like stay strong and like remember your whole purpose, right? Like, and that's what I mean about like the faith coming in like waves, right?
Okay.
It's just, like it's just something, it's very difficult. And to be able to just keep going and to be like, okay, you're not putting you before your purpose, which is Allah, and pleasing Him is like, that's like true strength, right? In any scenario and situation, I think when somebody is able to... But
can't your purpose be aligned with what? Like, can it be one and the same?
Yeah, it can. It can. But what I'm saying is that it's very difficult for, like, I'm saying I'm talking about the moments of your weakness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like to be able to put that aside and just be like, it's okay. Like keep going, right? Because I'm sure I've heard people many times, hijabis tell me like it's difficult, or like I've definitely I've heard discussions amongst hijabis about like, there are times where it definitely crosses our minds, like, do I want to wear this? Or even people who have just started, like it took them a lot to get to that point where it's a commitment, right? Like, and I feel like
does it have anything to do with like support?
I think support makes a huge difference.
Really?
I think it makes a huge difference.
Either way. Like, oh, hey, I support you wearing it. I support you not wearing it. Like, either way.
It can. I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on person. There's some people that don't need people's support and they're very like headstrong about who they are and what their purpose is and what their goals are.
Sure.
And then there are people that are like, that need a little push or like a little, you know, like, hey, you look pretty, or or not only that, but just like, hey, like, I admire your purpose. Like in a world where like it's so widely accepted to like, you know, like to flaunt yourself. It's, you know, like, and I feel like, and I'm saying this like without being judgmental to people who do choose not to wear hijab and wear whatever they wear or whatever. Like that's, you're at where you're at in your life, right? But I personally believe that this is a wajib thing. And I personally feel like distant from God that I'm not observing it, right? It's something that it's just me personally, right? Like if I wear it or I don't wear it, it has nothing to do with what I see in you, right? It's just that I know where I'm at mentally, right? And that's just how I believe. And and
I know nothing about hijab, right? In terms of what it feels like, or the feelings that encompass, right? By the way, is your phone nearby?
It is. Sorry, is it annoying?
There's a little bit of interference. Can you put it on airplane mode?
Sure.
My bad.
No, you're fine. Sorry, I didn't do that earlier.
No, it's all good.
Okay, done.
I just want to make sure we're off the grid.
This is part of the conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Something about to happen.
Yeah. There's cancer waves coming from the phone.
No, you're so annoying. There is actually. You were waiting for it. There is, guys. I swear. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. What were we saying? I had an idea, but I forgot. Hijab. I have a really bad memory.
Here, you need to write this down.
No, I'm good. But
no, hijab. Like I have no idea of what's required, what's not required, what the feelings are, right? Like covering up, dressing modestly, blah blah blah. And I think a lot of the times where, you know, speaking from a dude's perspective, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna be a little raw here. Okay,
that's fine. Don't be like gross.
And by the way, I know people are gonna have like things to say, but
just don't. I'm like worried. I'm like, just censor what you're about to say. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe I'll cut it out.
Okay,
but you know, if those people are like, oh, hey, you're doing a podcast with the non-mahram, like, blah, 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 blah,
oh yeah, right? Yeah.
Guys,
there's other males and females in here.
Right here.
Just want to let you know, okay?
Yeah, they're just mute. They have like masks on their faces and they're
not allowed to talk. Why are they meowing?
I don't know. But
okay, I thought you were gonna say something worse. That wasn't bad.
But like it's gonna get crazy.
Don't, please.
No, but I think from a guy's perspective, I have no idea. I think, I'll be honest, before when I went through my religious phase, right, was more like, like, hey, like if I saw someone struggling to wear a hijab, or I saw someone with people would make fun of it too, right?
Of course.
There's videos out there where people are making fun of the different types of hijab, right? Like the half moon hijab or the convertible hijab, like all these sort of things, right?
Yeah.
And it's guys that are making these videos.
Yeah.
Right.
It's insensitive.
So it's like, and then the culmination, the main point of the video is like, hijab is supposed to be right, and it's just like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, seriously.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Shut up. Like, is it my responsibility to tell my spouse, hey, you should wear a hijab? Personally, no. Or if she has an inclination, like, hey, I'm thinking about wearing hijab. You know what I'm gonna say? Great. Right?
Yeah. Thank God. No, I'm just kidding.
Alhamdulillah, Allah answered my prayers.
Yeah.
You're so pious and righteous. Thank you.
Finally.
You're the best woman.
That's how he really feels, guys. I'm just kidding.
But the same is true vice versa.
Yeah.
If my spouse was wearing a hijab and for whatever reason, I think I would also take it very personally, because like I would question, okay, maybe like, am I not providing her the security? Right?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, my spouse is a hijabi.
Yeah.
Right? And one day she's like, I'm not going to wear hijab anymore.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And then, so that, like, I would be like, whoa. First, I'd be like, okay, whoa, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's pretty, like, severe. Right?
I'm just kidding.
Stuff. No.
I'm just kidding, guys.
Totally. Probably poison her.
Guys, this is all joking. We're terrible.
Yeah.
We can't, really Kashif, our whole crew, like when this is the most serious we've been ever.
This is serious?
Is it not?
Oh, okay.
I do not approve of beating anybody.
No, man.
Okay, go ahead.
No,
I know. Go back to the topic.
But if my wife did that, I'd be like, okay, this is pretty bad. This is serious. Serious in the sense that, like, that's a major decision. That's number one.
It is.
Right? Number two, I would be like, okay, let me see what's up with her. Right? Like, what is going on with her?
Yeah.
Right? Why? Right? Not why in the sense that, like, let me ask you why so you can go back. Like, let me hear your reasoning so I can invalidate it and then make you, like, convince you not to do it. No, not like that. Actually genuinely, like, hear and understand, like, why the F are you feeling this way?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I would also take it personally, because it's my job as someone's spouse to make that person feel secure and comfortable. Yeah. Right? Not insecure. Right? Be secure of who they are. Yeah. Right? As a human being, as a woman, as a wife. Yeah. As a mother. So I don't think, like, it's not my decision, right? It's not my call. Yeah. I think there are ways to be encouraging. I think there's ways to be like tactful. Yeah. Right. And display diplomacy. Right. And what is it called? Just genuine courtesy. Right. Just genuine like. What is it called?
And even
chivalry,
sometimes,
right?
but sometimes,
like, respectful.
Yeah, and that's a great. I mean, and that's the thing is, like, I feel like not every guy is like that, right? Like a lot of people who want their spouse to be wearing hijab and they're happy with that, or even guys that are not happy with it. Like, I think there needs to be like an understanding and education of it, and the fact that yes, it is. So I don't want to talk about like fiqh stuff because I don't have the proper knowledge, and I don't want to say anything that's gonna like get me in trouble, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're not a sheikh.
I'm not. Yeah. So, but yeah, just in general though, I think people need to understand, like, just kind of like, yeah, people. I kind of get annoyed at like the hijab police or just any, like, dude, you have a lot. Every one of us has.
Sister, you're not wearing the semi-permeable nail polish.
Actually, this is water permeable.
Oh,
okay. It is.
All right, then your namaz is valid.
Thank you. Thanks, police officer.
All right, you're just getting a warning this time.
Defund the police. For real though. No, but for real, like, I think that people need to just worry about yourselves, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we have so much. You don't even know. Since COVID started, I've been to so many funerals. I was just talking about this with my parents yesterday.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've been to lost a friend. Yesterday I went to a friend's uncle's. It's just been to a lot, right?
Yeah.
Hearing a lot. Yeah. Been to many. We need to focus on our own lives and stop worrying about other people's lives.
Right.
Like, stop backbiting. Just stop, dude. Like, what are you doing with your time? You know what I mean? Like, these are things that are only going to get you further away from God and where you want to be. And we're all going to the same place at the end, right? Like, sorry to bring this dark cloud over.
No, it's not dark. It's real.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just people need to worry about themselves. Like, a hijab comes off or this or that, blah, 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 blah. Like, I would understand if somebody's like, oh yeah, I hate the hijab and I'm not going to do it. Then I'd kind of be like, okay, why is that person, what happened to them, right? I'd think and wonder.
There's a lot that goes into that.
It does, yeah. And and it's psychological. So much of it is psychological, guys. We're going through COVID. How many people are going through stuff right now? We don't know about it. Not everybody puts their stuff out. Some people do, whatever you want to do. Yeah. It's your business. But that's one thing I keep in mind. And I think my life's experiences have taught me is that you don't know what somebody is going through. You have no idea what the truths are. You could hear what this person said to this person, and then it spread to that person. And I heard that they went through this and they went through that. You don't know the truth. Only God knows that. That's true. Right? So focus on yourself. Yeah. If it's your family, you do what's best Islamically, give them the best Islamic advice, right? You don't push anything. You don't force anything on anybody. That's just my
support.
My
and I
ideology.
think that's the essence of support, right?
It is, yeah. And I'm talking about, the right support. Right.
If a boss comes to you one day and he's like, hey, Mom, I want to play soccer, right? Okay, cool. Let's figure out a way for you to play freaking soccer, right? Yeah. You shouldn't be like, no, you have to get into buskashi, right? or basketball.
I wanted you to be a professional buskashi player.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
I get it,
You can be supportive without necessarily... I think support doesn't have to do with approval or disapproval.
Yes.
I think support is just, hey, okay, you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? How frequently? Talk to me about it. Okay, cool. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. That's why your circle matters so much, dude. Even your friends, how much have I seen you guys during COVID? Barely, right? But we're friends that you pick up after a year or 2 years or 5 months or 2 months or a day, whatever.
She was actually thinking about coming with Abbas and, her husband, who is my childhood BFF. He's going to come on. But you guys were talking about coming 2025?
Yeah. I was if your podcast makes it big, let me know. No, but seriously, just this whole thing, your circle matters so much, man. It does. It really, and that's the support you're talking about. You guys, I know that majority of my friends are not supportive of my decision, right? I probably were happier for me as wearing hijab, right? And that's why you guys are my friends and family, because I want people like that in my life that are gonna push me towards my goals, right? Not backtrack, right? I don't want friends that are yeah. I've had people, many people who mean well. I know they mean well. Yeah. They've been oh my God, your hair looks so great, or you look so pretty now, or I'm proud, not proud of you, but they've said things like that. And I know what they mean because I haven't heard from them in forever. So I'm just okay. I've definitely noticed people treat me differently, at work.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the people, the friends that I have. I have my friends from the masjid who are my girls. I love them. We hung out together. They met me as a hijabi. Right. And it's not the best feeling in the world to come in front of them, even be able to hang out with them in public without it on. It's it's embarrassing. I was embarrassed, right? Okay. I feel that.
Okay. Why?
And
why do you feel embarrassed?
Because it's just not for me, it's not who I want to be. And plus it's an embarrassing feeling coming out for the first time, because it's just you kind of don't I don't all eyes on me, right? So obviously everybody's just oh, it's the first time I'm seeing you this way. So they may not even show it, but of course it's something that you see somebody for the first time that hasn't.
So when you decide to wear hijab, if ever, I have to take this podcast episode off.
Oh, yes. Tomorrow. You better put me on next, bro. Yes.
That's the only thing you have going for you
Yeah.
Like if you're like, hey, delete this, delete that, I'm like, I ain't deleting jack, right? But tomorrow you wear a hijab, I'm like, shit.
Oh, okay, good. I was about to say, I was like, then you're gonna have to deal with that. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just messing with you.
No, but it's true. But yeah, inshallah, make dua for me, guys, everybody, that get me to that point again, inshallah, because that is my goal. And you know, like for this last first 10 days of Muharram, right? Like we observe it, my family and I observe it, and we have not attended lectures, but we've, you know, watched it virtually. And I kind of, whenever these times come, like Ramadan or whatever, like where I get connected, I get like a stronger connection, right? And I've actually contemplated it so much where I was just like, you know what, dude? Like hearing about the Prophet, peace be upon him, hearing about his family, peace be upon them, like, and just the struggles that they went through is like nothing. Like we talk about, even like the biggest struggles we have here, it's like, dude, you hear the story, like, and I'm just like, dude, like this is like a movie I watched.
You don't have hot water?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
your AC went out?
Yeah. Oh, right. Man. Or like, my friend and I got into an argument, or like, I didn't get that job. Like,
you got a flat tire?
Bro, like people saw their kids like get freaking killed in their hands.
Slaughtered.
Like, yeah. And these are like the holiest figures that like, this is like, so just hearing these stories, like obviously naturally reconnects my heart to like our purpose here. Right.
Yeah.
And those moments, I'm just like, man, forget it. Like, what's me showing my hair gonna do? Like, is that gonna save me from going through struggles or going through this and that? Like, no, it's not. Your
struggle's gonna happen regardless.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. It's gonna happen regardless. Exactly.
Like wearing a beard and, you know, dressing and lowering my gaze and, you know, like praying, right?
Yeah,
or praying periodically whenever it's convenient for me. It's not. It's not a transaction.
Yeah.
It's not a transaction.
Exactly.
Right. I think a lot of people treat religious stuff and deen, right, and their religion as a transaction.
Yeah.
So, I prayed, therefore this is going to happen, or I expect God to do this,
or I'm not going to face afflictions. Like, no.
Right. Yeah. It's not. It doesn't work that way. Like those things happen regardless.
Exactly.
But I think the really cool thing about this whole thing is those afflictions that may happen regardless.
Yeah.
When someone is pious or working on being pious, genuinely, sincerely, doesn't feel that anxiety.
Yes.
Doesn't feel that unease.
Exactly.
Like, but when you're not, when someone is not focused with Allah in mind, right? Genuinely, sincerely, then all problems cause unease.
Of course.
Right? It's like, oh man, not this again. Not, today this. What the hell's going to happen today?
Yeah, or like,
right?
this person said this to me. Like, and I'm just like, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a different level of sensitivity, and like everybody's just at a different level, different coping methods. Like everybody's different. But for me, like what you said, when I faced whatever issue I did and I removed my hijab, I fell off. Like even praying wise, I can't even remember. I think I did pray, but I wasn't like 5 times a day. I wasn't like whatever, like how I should be, right? I noticed that about myself. It's like when I'm going through like really tough times, like for me, if I feel like something's heavy on me, I kind of just get lazy where I'm just kind of like in a I don't want to see anybody mode. And I just want to just chill and think about, depress myself more. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I go through these things, right? And then like I've noticed that I kind of slip. But the only thing that saved me, right, is it didn't change. It didn't change everything that happened. It didn't change anything. If anything, maybe it, like there's a reason why Allah prescribes this. He doesn't benefit 5 prayers a day from every single human in this world. Like there's nothing for him that he can't give, right, or have. So it's for us. It's for yourself. And like until you feel it, until you understand it, like then you realize. And that's the thing that gives me anxiety or guilt when I don't pray. Also because I'm worried about the afterlife, right? Obviously I don't want to go to a bad place, right?
You want to build something that you're looking forward to.
Exactly, right? Inshallah. So but go ahead.
There was a guy, like a scholar once, I don't remember names, but I'm really bad with names.
It's fine.
But a man came to a scholar, right? And he was like, why do we hate to die, right? And or why do we like always push it further, right? Like getting treatment, fighting disease, blah, blah. Like you fight it. You fight death, right? And in another way, like you kind of don't like dying. Who likes dying?
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to die,
yeah.
right? And so we avoid death, or we hate death. And so the guy asks this wise man, he's like, why do we hate to die? And he goes, because you're going from something that you've built to something that you've destroyed. So of course you're going to hate it.
That's deep.
You know? So it's I think as long as we're putting in the work,
yeah,
right, daily, you got to chip away at it, right? Mm-hmm. We all have to chip away at it. It's not going to happen overnight. Like, I'm not gonna like wear a hijab and magically things are gonna change, right?
Yeah,
you're gonna have, and that's the test of it, right?
Exactly.
But
and God loves those who He tests, so it's not like you don't expect to be living the life. You may, but
so there was so a significant other, right, that I used to talk to, right? Astaghfirullah.
Okay, go ahead.
In a halal way.
Okay, good. Okay. Thank God. Alhamdulillah.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So she, we were at this. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I still remember this, since I don't know why I thought of this, but I figured I'd just mention it. We were at this like fundraiser, right, for some initiative. Right?
Yeah.
Some like religious initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And and it was in a big hall, right? It wasn't segregated. Like, it was segregated, but not with like a curtain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like the women were sitting on one side, and all the men were sitting on the other. So I entered from like the side entrance, and I don't know like where she sat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of wanted to know, right? Okay, so, and I ended up telling her this after the fact. So like I told her, right? I kind of felt like a little weird telling her this.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you. So I walk into the hall, right? And I'm like looking for her, right? And I can't find her, right? She's like sitting down.
So you're staring hard. You're like,
I'm like, who is this? Where is she? Right? So I'm looking, and then like, I do like a little double take, right? It's like, right?
Yeah.
It was like that. And I'm like, initially, like in that moment, in that instant, I was like, yo, Shouty is fine, right? Like, who is this? Right? And it was a homegirl, but she was wearing a hijab.
Mashallah, yeah.
Right? But all this is to say, I think beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I personally, that's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone's beautiful in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone who wears a hijab also looks pretty in that way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
It's like I don't know. This might sound dumb, but like, it's like using this foundation versus another foundation, right? Like,
yeah.
Or I don't know. Does that make sense?
Not really, but it's okay.
But it's like doing smoky eyes versus non-smoky.
Shape tape all day, every day. Smoky eyes all day. No,
Sure.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know what that means.
No, I'm just kidding.
But
I get what you're saying.
It's just a different way to
exactly
present yourself.
Of course.
Right? It has nothing to do with piety. It has nothing to do with...
Can I show you a funny meme? Are we allowed to do this on the show?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. So this is what I meant earlier when I was talking about like, so I guess a better way to say it is like your final form, right? Because I was saying like women who wear hijab
if you want to access the
potential.
Wi-Fi.
Oh, my bad. I'm on airplane mode. I'm like, why is this not working? Are you hearing feedback?
Not right now, but if you pull up your Wi-Fi.
Okay, well, your internet's terrible, so.
No, are you even on it?
Yep, there. I think it worked. But anyways, it was basically like a anime scene where it was just like you fool, like it said something about like when you get a compliment as a hijab. Here you go. There you go. When someone says you're pretty.
When someone says you're pretty, but they haven't seen you without hijab, you feel, this is my final form?
It says, you fool, this isn't even my final form. Like, that's what I mean is like, hijab, you're beautiful, right? Like, I have so many friends, all my friends, man. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, even you feel confident, right? Like, there are days where you get ready, you try, you look nice, you put together a nice outfit, and you look beautiful. But of course, in your final form, what you're guarding, that beauty you're guarding, like, you can be even more. I mean, of course, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Somebody could just be like, oh my God, like you look even prettier with a hijab on, right? Like, so that's what I'm saying. But for
I'm not
us,
saying prettier or not prettier.
But you look beautiful. Like, it's just a different beauty. Like, it's a different...
I told my significant other later after the event ended, because, we couldn't interact.
Yeah.
So,
You're like, wear hijab.
No. I was like, why aren't you wearing hijab? Astaghfirullah.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I was like, yo, can I be honest with you? Don't kill me, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I saw you, and I was like, yo, who is this fine shouty, right?
Stop.
And actually, I didn't phrase it that way. I was like, I saw this girl, and she was fine as hell, right? I was like, dang, she's fine, right?
Listen, first of all, another pointer, okay?
And then she's like, I could see, like, she was just like, what the hell are you saying? Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're actually openly admitting this? Right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, then I had to take a double take, and I realized
God, it was you. Thank God. You're so annoying.
But I'm not saying that hijab is more pretty than someone who doesn't wear hijab.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'm just saying it actually looks cool.
Yeah. You're not automatically not as pretty as somebody who puts everything out, and vice versa.
To each their own.
Exactly.
To each their own.
Yeah, and that's like,
I don't like your hair.
I admire that. I know. I admire.
I don't like your hair.
I think like
I should cut it all off.
Okay, listen.
Go bald.
My memory is terrible. I'm gonna forget what I have to say. But I actually sometimes wonder, as a female, if there are males out there who are not attracted to a person who is out and flaunting. And by flaunting, I don't mean flaunting like wearing whatever or minimal clothing or whatever. But I wonder if there are people out there that find the hijab, like if they see a room full of beautiful, like drop dead beautiful women, if they'll find that hijabi to be the most beautiful in the room. Because of course, like sometimes I wonder, and not that it's not important.
I've talked to some folks,
yeah,
and when I was like doing that blog, right, the still single Muslim blog,
I think so, yeah.
Right. Like I was talking to a lot of people, and they were commenting and they were providing a lot of feedback that a lot of single folks that are, I mean, maybe, I don't know if you can relate to this because you've been married for some time, but
yeah,
a lot of single folks, especially women, express this concern that like, I don't feel like I'm getting enough. I don't know if attention. I don't know if attention is the right word, but it's just like, it's like getting hits, right? Like
of course, I know. Like, they're not getting like you're not getting
you talked about
noticed
that in the very beginning,
yeah,
right? Like we live in a culture where, like that's the norm, right? Like whether it's an influencer, whether it's whatever, like it's talked about. It's like and it's attention is there for sure, right?
It's probably the look. I think it's the setting that makes a huge difference, right?
I don't know, man. Maybe, but I think
so, because I think if you're going to, I mean, I can imagine.
Someone asked me, like, hey, would you rather marry someone who's wears a hijab or someone who doesn't, right? And I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it's not my decision, right? Like, but no, it's okay to have a preference. It's okay to have a preference.
Like, just tell me. Just tell me. It's okay.
Just tell me.
Stop cursing.
I'm actually gonna do this.
That's so annoying, dude. I've been not drinking my drink because of how loud it is when I drink my drink. Okay, that's so annoying. My ears are bleeding. But yeah, listen.
People actually do that.
What?
ASMR. You know what that is?
No, dude.
I found out recently.
What is that?
It's like people eat a chip, like with a really like close up to the microphone.
No, stop! It's in my ears. It's so annoying. Yes. Okay, stop. I'm trying to drown the sound out. Yeah, dude, it's where you're looking, man. It's definitely where you're looking. Like, people will be like, oh my God, like, I can't find any religious people that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Bro, get out of Darna. Like, no offense to Darna, right? But like, I've had friends in the past who have complained about not being able to find anybody, but their whole circle and everybody that they spent their free time with were always out and about partying.
Yeah, but dude, you can't, like, you know what I mean? Here's the thing though, like, okay, can I say something about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's nice to settle down.
Yeah.
It's nice to find somebody who's, has, because now you're thinking, okay, well, I got to get serious.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a good guy.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a good girl. Right. And it's like,
you got to fix yourself first.
I don't know if it's fixing yourself. It's just a matter of, dude, if you're not acclimated to that culture, right? If you haven't spent any time, right, because there's depth, right? There's just like there's depth to my voice.
Oh my God,
right?
stop.
Like there's depth, right? And if someone, just using that Darna as an example, right? Like you're chilling in this environment, you're hanging around people that regularly like, hang out over there.
Yeah.
Which not gonna judge. I've been there.
Yeah. I'm not judging, guys. I didn't mean it by that.
But what I'm saying is, I am really judging. No, but like.
No, we've all been to these like hookah spots, whatever. Like no judgment. That's not what I meant.
But
before everybody starts hating on me.
My beautiful experience.
Yes.
Especially with like a masjid.
Yes.
In a time period where I was totally like lost, right? Mm-hmm. My mindset was, let me go to the masjid, and you know what? I just need some acceptance. I'm going to go to the house of God.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not looking for somebody. I'm not looking for like acceptance from God. Right?
Yeah.
Not a single person, like a human being, because human beings will always disappoint you.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, right? Except obviously our prophet and his family. But generally speaking, I think really it boils down to the fact that don't expect something, right? When you have no idea of what the depth of it is, right?
Yeah.
And don't get butthurt about, oh, I can't find somebody. Like, and I'm talking about guys too.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I can't find somebody, right? Oh, I was talking to this girl, I was talking to this, sister, and it didn't work out because, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's okay. It's totally okay. It's totally okay. Right? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you don't know the time and you don't know the place, but it's going to happen.
Yeah. And those friends that I've had those conversations with eventually did settle down, found somebody in the weirdest ways, but whatever. Not weirdest, but as in like not coming across them or running into them like in their daily, like it wasn't like a networking thing. It wasn't anything like that. Like they just found them. So like you said, just, I feel like the connections that we need to like, what you're looking for, one, be ready for it yourself too, right? Like you can't go to the wrong places. That's what I meant by bringing that up. It's like, don't go places where you're not going to...
a divorce lawyer for marriage advice.
Exactly, right? Like, what's wrong with that? No, I'm just kidding. No, but really, like, those are just things that you just got to do. Like, people out here complain about certain things. You just got to check yourself sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. And then also have faith, man. Trust in God, because it always happens in the weirdest ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think faith in God is... It's the unseen.
It is. But like I said, I think you need to get to that level of achievement. Like achieving...
What do you mean?
Achieving like that tawakkul. Like not like you have to do something to earn it. But I think you need to get to a place where you actually feel it. Like you really feel it, right? Like it doesn't just like somebody... Like you could be depressed right now and be like, gosh, if it's okay, like go make dua right now and everything's going to be okay, right? Like you know how everybody likes to throw that like religious advice at people when they're like going through stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not till you believe it, like when your heart is content, is my opinion. Like
what happens?
Anything, like whatever you're distressed about, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever you're needing in your life, whatever you want. Like until you actually have that faith and understanding that it's God who's in control of this and that it's not just like a transaction.
I think that goes in and out all the time.
It does. But
I'm saying like even when you have tawakkul, right?
Yeah.
Like I have tawakkul.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have the most tawakkul ever.
But do you?
More than anybody.
Go ahead. Get your point.
They call me tawakkul guy.
Yeah. That's weird.
I know. No, but
why?
Like,
no, I'm just kidding.
Because tawakkul.
Okay, tell me. So you have tawakkul,
but like today I can have tawakkul.
Yeah.
Right? And tomorrow stuff hits the fan.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I mean, yes, that's your faith getting tested.
Yeah, and that's up and down. So
it does.
All I'm saying is I don't think that it's a point where you arrive and then it's only ahead from there.
No, well, no. No, and I didn't mean that. I don't mean that.
And I think it's always like this.
And that's what I mean about my waves when I tell you I go through waves where I'm just kind of like, I kind of stink at like Like, the thing is that I have that basic, for me personally, I have that basic understanding. Like, when I'm going through something, I'm just like, you know what? I know what the purpose of this world is. I know that this life is temporary. I know that trials are like teaching us something or reminding us of our purpose, right? Like, it's bringing me closer to God in the end, which it does. But that wave I go through, and I'm not justifying it, but where I fall off and I don't do my mandatory wajib stuff that I should be doing or that I would normally be doing because I'm going through what I'm going through. In the end, I always come out stronger, where I've noticed that I'm drawn to God and I get that bond again. But yeah, it is like you said, you go through tawakkul one day and then tomorrow, and that's natural. Like it's just situations stressing you out, right? Like, you're allowed to be stressed but still have tawakkul. You're allowed to be like, you know, like with the loss of somebody, like, you know that this is what this life was promised to us, like what's going to happen to us. But that doesn't mean that you're not losing it, right? You're not like falling apart. It's a lot.
There's a saying, Azim mentioned it. He said that when he was on, he said that...
I didn't watch it.
Well, okay.
Just kidding. I'm joking. I watched it this morning. Go ahead.
She said it was too long. I'm gonna purposely drag this out.
This is oh God, are you guys bored? I bet you nobody's watching this right now.
Hey guys, if you made it this far, thank you very much.
We should just go live. You should have done this live so we can make people feel guilty.
I don't know.
For leaving.
Maybe later.
Let's do it now.
Hey, you just left.
Let's do it right now. We are now live.
We're not.
I'm just kidding.
No, he said that there's a saying. The state of a believer is wondrous, right? Like Prophet ﷺ said that. And why is it wondrous? It's wondrous because when this person goes through happiness, they say Alhamdulillah. And when they go through hardship, they say Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
It's a wonder, right? Like you look at like something that's beauty, right? Exterior, like mountains or beaches or scenery, right?
Yeah.
Waterfalls, clouds, right? Sunsets.
Yeah.
Sunrise. You're like, wow, subhanallah, right? Like, wow, right? It's a wonder, right?
Yeah.
The moon, like the stars, right? It's a wonder. Like you look at it and you just wonder, wow, right?
Yeah.
How did this all come? And I think personally, I think that saying in another way, just put it like just common terms today, it's like the state of a believer is wow.
It is.
It's because in both circumstances, you're like, Alhamdulillah. Right?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Because even though but here's the thing, I'm not going to be all like, religious or whatever. All I'm saying is it's not easy to say Alhamdulillah when you're getting your face dragged through the mud. It's not easy. Yeah. Right?
I agree.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot easier to be like, why God? Right?
Yeah. And people do,
And people do. All I'm saying is doing that hard thing, knowing that, okay, there's some sort of tangible benefit in this struggle, right? That I don't know, right? You made it here safe.
Yeah.
Right? Alhamdulillah. And maybe, let's say, for example, let's say, for example, you were running late and on the way here, okay, you saw an accident, right? But you have this like agitation that you're running late, right? Like, shit, crap, I'm late, right?
Yeah.
And you're coming here and you see an accident. We don't think that, hey, maybe if I was running on time, I could have been that car.
Exactly. No, I always think that. My dad taught me that.
Yeah, and I think normally we don't think of foresight.
Yeah,
right?
we don't.
We don't think, okay, well, this is happening. Perhaps this is happening now. Like maybe I got this flat tire now because, oh look, I fixed my flat tire. There's this major accident down the road. Yeah, because humans are like innate to basically wanting to know, like they just want to see like the cause and effect of everything, right? Results immediately. We don't think about why this happens or how it affects us, right? Like why did it play out this way and how it affects us? We always look at like, I always say that, dude. I'm always like, you don't know what Allah's wisdom is. Like you don't know why
you didn't get this job, right? Like maybe it was bad for you. Maybe it was going to take you away from him. Maybe it was just going to make you miss that prayer that you need to do, right?
Yes.
Like maybe you can relate it to anything. And of course I'm human, and I'm sure that there's times maybe that I do sometimes, fall into that like ideology of like, why did it happen this way? Or like, I wish, like, you know what I mean? Like you don't want negative things to happen to you ever, right? But to understand, like with something as simple as running late, is that I always think about that. That actual example though is just something that my dad would always say, like whenever we're running late or something, or he would always be like, you never know what would happen if we were like on that road. We took that road instead of this road. So I always think about that, but it applies to everything in life. If you look at it that way, it kind of gives you more ease.
I think this life is definitely, it's difficult. It's meant to be a little challenge, right? And after all, I mean, that's what Allah says in the Quran, right? When he created Adam and Eve, and it's like, I'm going to put you on earth and you're going to go through a little bit of a situation and a lot of it, but there's tremendous reward. And I know something that you don't know. That's basically the gist of that entire situation. Yeah. And, and obviously Angel said, oh, you're going to do this. You're going to put them on there. They're going to commit bloodshed. And Allah was like, listen, I know something that you don't know. And Allah knows why he created all of this, right? We worship him. We're of service to him. And one of my teachers said, Islam. Yeah. You can do anything you want, except a few things, right? And like, you're allowed to play video games. Yeah. You're allowed to play basketball.
Hasib, you hear that, Hasib?
Except him. Nope. There's a fatwa against him.
What do you follow? I'm just kidding.
But the idea is that you can actually enjoy being here, and there's a small amount of restrictions, right? But all in all, this is to say that I think if you're gonna get tested, yes, like it's there's blessings in tests, right? Sometimes you need that test to wake your ass up, right? It's like, hey, hello, hey, like, wake up. Right? Sometimes you just need to wake up. Sometimes it's just a test of faith. Yeah. Right? And I think I can speak for myself when oftentimes I had a lot of doubt. Right? In just, what is this all about? Why am I here? Right? Like, why am I why do I have to pray? Because like, do I have to pray because if I don't pray, I'm going to go to hell? Yeah. Or like, that's just, or if I pray, I'm going to go to heaven? Right? Yeah. Like, why does it need to be incentive driven? Right? Yeah, like, exactly. Like, and I talked to someone about that, like a mentor, and he said that's okay. You can be driven by wanting infinity, right? Infinite happiness and infinite pleasure. You can be driven by that. You can also be driven by, because some people are like that. Yeah. Right? And like, human beings are like that. Not everybody. Maybe some people are. Some people are driven by the consequences. Yep. Right? Or driven by avoiding the consequences. Yeah. Right? So it's like, oh, if I don't do this, or if I continue to do this, then if I continue to slack off in my studies, I'm going to fail this freaking class. Yeah. Right? And therefore, it's going to affect my GPA, which, okay, it's going to be a 2.0. And then, oh my God, getting a 2.0 in this class is going to affect my total GPA. Like,
it's different for everybody, right?
It's different for everybody.
Yeah. Depending on what they value or what they...
Yeah. And I think all of that is okay. And sometimes some people is like, well, I don't want an incentive. I don't care about the incentive. Yeah. Yeah. Like I wanna pray because I feel like it.
Yeah. Because I love God.
But how do I feel like
I love God.
Yeah. Like, how do I feel like it? And how do I love God? So, I've definitely been there. And I think the resounding thing that I would tell just, anybody, my younger self, whoever, is just that, dude, surround yourself with positive people, right? Someone who you aspire to be like,
Yes.
Like, there's a saying, like, don't be the best in your group.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Best in the sense that, like,
I need new friends.
no new friends.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag Drake.
Is that Drake? No new friends.
But yeah.
Is my airplane mode off?
I don't know.
So I just tapped my phone. Sorry, it wasn't. Do you hear it?
No, I don't hear anything.
Anyways, yes, it is not.
But how is I want to ask you about, like,
sure.
Whether you can ask me anything. You can ask me stuff.
I don't really care. I'm just kidding. Let's talk. Let's ask you. Well, yeah.
Oh.
Tell me what you would tell your younger self.
About?
Did you talk about this in the first episode?
I talk about it all the time.
No, but you asked Azim, what would you tell your younger self? What would you tell your younger self about? Let's say somebody has the intention of being religious, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to be not religious, but let's just use the term, like, they want to be God conscious, right? And they want to be fulfilling their Islamic duties, right? Mm-hmm. What would you tell somebody coming, like, out of, or even going into high school these days, because they're starting younger these days from, you know, this, there's an agenda. There's an agenda where they're trying to.
They're like kids hitting puberty at like 10 years old.
Basically, yeah. So, and I'm halfway joking about this, but there is, you know, I think an agenda where they're trying to introduce certain ideologies.
Here we go with the conspiracy theories.
Dude, it's not even a conspiracy. Why are there dolls' toys that are doing bad things?
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Yeah, well, I don't want to talk about that right now because I'm very passionate about that. I'm gonna embarrass you.
It was a Facebook video.
Yeah,
I saw that.
It was. And
like,
that's not the only one. There was also another LOL dolls that do something too.
Oh my God.
I'll show you those things offline. But so what would you tell your teenage self, or what would you tell your brother Hasib right now? Like, let's say you're
stop playing video games.
Okay. So what would you tell yourself? No. Okay. Or any teenage boy. Don't put it towards something that's like.
No, I mean, I would tell my younger self this.
Yes.
Because I know how I grew up. I know how I don't know how every other teenage boy lives.
Yeah.
I think I grew up in a very unique situation. Everybody's unique in their own way.
Yeah.
Right. Some people are like, oh my God, you went through that. Oh my God, I can't believe that. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, we're all tested differently.
We are.
I'm telling you.
Azim said that in the first video when he was just like, remember when you guys talking about tests? And he was like, yeah, what trials? What trials did we go through?
Yeah.
But then, I mean, yes, he's right in a sense, but I also disagree because some people have had, like, normal, right? Yeah, like, some people have had, like, oh, I didn't get the job.
The average folks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, like, okay, even forget the average. I'm just saying, like, the struggles that you've faced in your life.
Yeah.
Right? I will never understand.
Yeah.
Ever.
Exactly, yeah.
They're unique to you. Mm-hmm. And the way you have been built and designed and raised in Allah's majesty, those problems that you faced, they're your own problems. And they may feel like the world is ending.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Bro, I don't look at that. Let's say, for example, I know 90% of your problems.
Yeah.
Or 100%. Mm-hmm. Just because I've been through my own problems.
Yeah.
That are pretty bad. This is just me. I'm not going to be like, those are problems. Those are your problems.
Yeah. No. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Like, no. I'm going to be like, oh shit, man. Like, because I know my problems, for me, were really tough to get over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So therefore, I know, knowing how Allah makes things and designs things, and everybody has their own thresholds.
Yeah.
I know that what you're going through is serious.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm going to be like, dang, you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Like, maybe I can help you, like, maybe just helps to talk about it. Yeah. I'm not a counselor, right? I'm not going to guide you. Maybe I can say some things that will help you.
Exactly, yeah.
But the idea is, so that's why I would say this advice to my younger self in that specific scenario, right? Because I went to a private school and I went to public school, and I had some personal issues and, young childhood things that kind of manifested later on.
Yeah.
And I would really, that's tough. If I had to choose something to say, I would be like, grow a pair of balls, and just like, if Like, don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Afraid of what? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
Yeah.
Right? Because growing up, I was super afraid of parents, of, like, I was walking on eggshells my whole life.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So I would tell my younger self, and even the young cats out there right now, grow a pair of nuts, really, because, like,
he means be strong, and that's what he means.
I can talk to you like
be
this,
brave,
right?
yes.
But I don't mean that
basically,
in a disrespectful way. But
basically, I'm ruining your show.
It's not my show. It's your show.
Oh, okay.
Really?
In that case,
I apologize.
Next guest,
sorry.
I'm just kidding.
No, but that's the thing, right? Having different people.
Yeah, dude, you have to be. No, go ahead. Go back to your idea. So you're saying that you need to tell your younger self.
And here's why.
Yeah, why?
I was, for a long time, I was afraid because I didn't get support in my house. Mm-hmm. I was bullied. I was bullied before bullying. Like, today's bullying thing, like, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Right? I was bullied before bullying was a thing. And I would just say, as long as you know that you are sincere, you don't want to hurt anybody genuinely, right? You have sincere intentions, right? You work towards being a good person, but despite all that, right, you don't get the love and support, right? Mm-hmm. No F's given, honestly.
Yeah.
But that comes with a lot of requirements, right? I don't want people to take this in a way that it's like, oh yeah, man, F that, dude. No. It's more like you have to have a set of things that you have to meet in order to feel this way. Yeah. In order to be fearless. Yeah. Right? Dude, what's the only thing you're supposed to be afraid of?
God.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Right? And that's it. What you're gonna?
But not like afraid, like afraid of like disappointing him, or just afraid of being on. Not like I'm not scared of God. Like, I love God, but I'm also afraid. I'm just afraid of disobeying him.
Well, that's your
like
fear.
your love that you have for somebody.
Yeah. I mean,
like an elder, right? Like, you don't want to disappoint them.
That's your fear. But I'm like, at times,
yeah,
I am legit afraid of God.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid of his punishment. I'm afraid of his wrath.
Yeah.
I still do
too.
Dumb things. Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, there are stories, man, like, where on the day of judgment, it's like, there are going to be people, there's going to be all sorts of people, but there are going to be people where God doesn't even look at them.
Yeah. No, I'm afraid. I'm definitely.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I know. I don't want to imagine that. Yeah.
Like, hey, it's like.
Yeah, like, you're not even going to be seen or
you
heard.
Don't exist.
Yeah, like,
you don't exist.
Yeah.
You don't exist.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid of that.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm afraid of that as well.
I'm afraid of that. So we're only supposed to be afraid of God, Allah.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid of shaitan. Don't be afraid of your parents, your spouse, your siblings who blackmail you or like guilt trip you, or cousins or aunties or uncles or whoever the hell, man.
Yeah. Yeah, don't.
No F's given. As long as you're 10, you're 12, you've been abused, you've been physically abused, mentally abused, sexually abused, bullied.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever the case, right? You're being made fun of in school.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you're a girl or you're wearing a hijab, people making fun of you, right?
Yeah.
Or you're being called ugly, or
you're not allowed to have the same life as all your friends.
You smell like onions because you live in a Desi household. Like,
loser. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally
you
joking.
smell like curry. You smell like curry, guy.
You smell like doll.
Yeah. But
that's messed up.
It's like, dude, all those comments are not against you.
Yeah.
They may seem like that because they're directed to you, but that's just an indication of who they are inside.
Exactly.
And maybe they're doing that because they have
They're projecting. Yeah. They're projecting.
Maybe they have some shit going on at home.
Yeah.
That they're just letting it out in a way to make fun of someone.
Yeah.
Right? Or bully someone or abuse someone. So
it's crazy when you get older, you realize. Yeah.
Be strong. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about what other people say. Like, not all other people that you have like close to, value, right? And if those people discourage you, then you need to find support elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, but with the right intentions, right? With the right intention, with the right sincerity. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, like, you know, oh, I want to go and, you know, do bad things.
Yeah.
Right. And if your family doesn't support you, you should like leave them or whatever. No.
Yeah.
Like it has to be noble, sincere, genuine causes.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you want to, you know, if you want to pursue a career and that's a career.
Yeah.
And your family's just, you know, like, no, you got to get married.
Yeah.
Or you want to be a doctor? You want to be a doctor? Or, you know, you're going to be 33 when you get out and it's 10 years and, you know, you're old and too late to have a child, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure women have their own problems.
They do. Yeah. Right?
Like
you sound
girls,
like I'm hearing a story of stories I actually know. Yeah.
And that's so much pressure from parents, right? Like I really want to, I don't want to help people in terms of being a physician, right? I mean, but I know people who do, women who do, and have worked very hard in their life, right? Have gone through a lot of shit, right?
Yeah.
And dude, mashallah, like they're physicians now, right?
Yeah.
Initially they weren't supported, right? Initially, like, and then, you know, they had some difficulty, like in school, right? And then, but they fought through it.
Yeah.
Right. They fought through it and they got the support. They saw that dedication. Eventually, the same people who were discouraging them, they were their strongest supporters.
Of course. Yeah.
So, but it took that like
village of support.
Village, but it took those cojones. Right.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. It does.
But because here's the thing, Belle, like, there's an example where I saw this like movie once where like this guy wanted to marry a girl.
Was it Step Brothers?
No.
Oh, okay,
Which
go
is
ahead.
Greatest movie of all time.
Best movie ever. Did we just become best friends?
So much room in here.
Do some karate.
Could do some fitness, aerobics.
Okay, go on.
In that movie, this guy wanted to marry this girl.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with the girl. Blah blah blah. The dad was just giving him a hard time, right?
Okay.
And he was just like, nope, you're not allowed to marry. They're from this family and that family, and they're not of our class, and whatever.
Yeah.
And the guy was just like, you know, like he fought his dad, right? And because he knew, he was like, listen, I know that this girl is going to be good for my dad and my family and my mom, right? That's why I'm choosing this girl.
Yeah.
But my dad can't see that. Long story short, the dad was just messing with him. Right.
Okay.
He was actually playing him, right? In a way that, like, testing him, right? And you know, because the son fought his dad, he was just like, you know what? Peace out.
Yeah.
Right. I'm doing this without you. If you want to be here, great. If you don't, peace out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's when the dad revealed to him, he's like, I wanted to see what you would do.
Okay.
I knew the way I raised you, right? I raised you to be a good person. Okay. I raised you to have good values. I know how you think, right? I'm testing you, right? That would you just always follow my command? And I understand that you want to please me as your father. You don't want to disappoint your dad.
Yeah.
But I already raised you.
Yeah.
With the choices to make that you wouldn't disappoint me.
Okay.
So now I'm just kind of teaching you or testing you to see if you would show up. If you would show up, right? Even if I'm like, no, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you actually learn the lessons that I taught you?
Exactly, yeah.
Because that's the true lesson. The true lesson is I raised you a certain way and you're supposed to act a certain way, right? And be resilient.
Yeah.
And that's why the guy tested him.
See, that's a smart dad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in our communities and cultures, it's not always the case, right? We'll have some people that are really like that, where they're like, you can't. And they're more concerned about what will people say rather than who's a fit.
It's hard, man. It's hard. And so that's why I would tell my younger self, just be strong, grow a pair, have confidence. If you don't have confidence, right, find somebody to just help you. As long as it's the real thing, it's the right thing, you're sincere, genuine about it.
Yeah.
Dude, hell, if you're out there, I will support you. I got your back. Yeah. Right? Really, because it's
his phone number is.
But
it is hard, man, and it's harder today. I don't know if you agree, but I feel like today's society is not as bad as when we were growing up. Like when I'm considering like this whole social media, like this whole everything, dude. Like everything is just different today. I feel like everything is widely. I think it's harder today. Oh. I think it's harder to stay on track. It's harder to remember. Like, I just feel like even I'm like almost 35, inshallah. And like, I just, sometimes I get caught up in
you look like you're 12.
Thanks. I actually just said that today. Alhamdulillah. I'm not cocky, but I said that. Yeah. I look like a kid. But,
you sound like a kid too.
Thanks.
Someone listening to the audio is going to be like, why do you have a 12-year-old?
Hello. Leave me candy. But no, seriously, dude, it's just this whole, like, I think today I worry as a parent, you know, I worry about what things are going to be like. Inshallah, I don't have to worry too much, and inshallah, I can do everything in my control and power to raise my son right, to have a good community around him, to be supportive, to keep him busy, right, and keep him focused on what he should be doing. But, you know, kids are kids, man. Like, it's very easy.
There's only so much you can do.
To derail, right?
I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
But I've heard from friends who are parents.
And you also, I'm sure you have like that concern for your siblings, right? When you're an older sibling, I don't know what that's like.
There's only a certain number of things you can control.
Yeah, of course. I know that.
But as long as you have the foundation.
Yeah. It's so important, that foundation.
That's something to fall back on.
And I think parents don't realize that, right? Like, you shouldn't raise your kids the same way you were raised, because we're in a different time, right?
Maybe you need to. Right? Maybe you
it's even a saying. It's a tradition of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Like, you do not raise your kids in the same way that you were raised, where like you're in a different time. And it's
but
true,
that doesn't
right?
necessarily
Like,
mean that it's completely different. You can take the positives of
yes, of course. I'm not saying like completely wipe out history and like don't use any of those values or lessons. No, but no, it's like, for example, if you're like, no, you know, we don't like this is how we eat, or this is like what the routine is, or like I mean, like, even in our cultures, some of this I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but in our cultures, like, there's certain things that are very like specific, right? And it has to be done this way. For example, a wedding, right? Like, no, if we don't do a wedding, it shows the other side, like, that we don't respect them. So we have to have like the third night, and the second night we have to like ride out on a horse and like a big carab. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying this is anybody's culture.
Sure.
I'm just saying there may be in certain villages, or like, you know, everybody's different. They all have their own traditions, and they're like, and you're trying to please everybody. But today's day and age, we don't need all that. Like, we live in a time where to put, like, it's so hard to get a house, right? To buy your own property. Like, it's so difficult to do. I don't know. It's like people are in debt, like student debt, right? Like, it's like from your education or whatever, like all your college loans and whatever debt you may have, right? Like, maybe you were like irresponsible in your 20s, like me, right? Like, yeah, me too. But like, you have debt, right? And it takes a while to pay that off, to get yourself in good standing, to get like, there's certain things that are more important living here where we live that you should tend to, right? To give you a successful future, especially with marriage, right? Like, you want to get married and be able to not have to struggle, right? Of course, there's trials and tribulations that may pop up, whatever, you deal with it then. But what I'm saying is that don't focus so much on how things were done, even if that's going to put you in like a worse situation. So for example, like, oh, we have to marry somebody from this village, even though the person that you want to marry is like so pious and so perfect, but no, sorry, they're not from this village. Like, how is that going to benefit your kid down the road? Like, what if you how will you forgive yourself if your kid
get rid of some of those like
the pointless, like, things that don't have logical explanations behind like what you're doing. And of course, parents always mean well, right? Like, they were raised a certain way, they believe a certain thing, like they raised you to the point where they think it was the best way, right? Because everybody raises their kids different, and that's how they should, right? Like, you love them the way you love them, like bring them up in a loving way, and that could be different for everybody, right? But unfortunately, what I'm saying is that some people don't understand and realize that some of these things could be detrimental to their future, right? Like, like keeping them only hanging out with their family members and not allowing them outside, how are they going to react? I've seen so many people derail after their parents were like so strict on them, right?
Like sheltered.
Yeah, even religiously strict sometimes when they're like, when you're enforcing things, but you're not explaining it and you're not helping them understand why they're living a certain way or why they're doing these things, they're going to fall off. They may fall off, right? Like you never know, but you do your best, right? It's parenting is like a whole different. That's
how is it like raising a 2-year-old?
Alhamdulillah, it's good. I'm already planning for like trying to make him.
I refuse to accept that he's talking right now.
He's going to be 3 in like 2 months, inshallah. Yeah. He talks up a storm, dude. But
really, it's so weird especially because of this whole COVID thing.
Yeah, because you don't see him, so you see him and
next time I'm like, he's making a sentence.
Yeah.
I'm like,
he talks so much. Dude, he's so much fun.
Where's
now.
the real Abbas? What did you do with him?
That's the sad. It goes by so fast, man. I look at like, you know how like these social media things will give you like memories like from a year ago, like your posts or your stories.
A year ago, and
yeah, and I'm like, no, like that wasn't a year ago. Like he's just a little baby that's like in his
before
onesies.
You know it, you're gonna be like, oh man, he was.
He's taller than me.
He's gonna be like. Yeah, Belqees is on a pedestal right now.
I am, guys. I'm really 4'11". Sad story.
So,
Abbas, man. Parenting, man, it's hard. It's hard.
There's gonna be a day where he's gonna be 18.
Inshallah, man.
And you're gonna be like,
no,
I remember when he didn't say a word.
I get it, man. All you females that don't understand why your mother-in-law is a certain way or like, oh, he's babied and this and that. Like, dude, I'm the youngest child and I'm pretty sure I'm spoiled by them, right? Like my parents still do amazing things for me. God bless their hands and God bless them. Alhamdulillah for that. Yeah. But it's like it's just they're showing love, right? Like when I think about Abbas like leaving, right? Like I was watching Toy Story with him the other day. And the kid was like leaving to college and the mom was like standing there looking around the room. It's a cartoon, dude. I started getting teary-eyed. Oh, man. Because you think about like, and he's just 2. I have, alhamdulillah, inshallah, like a long way to go until that. But
you think you baby him? You think it's going to be
a whatever. Boy? All these guys call me helicopter mom. Like, I'm going to be a mama's boy.
He's going to be a mama's boy?
Be rough on him. He's actually, our bond has grown. Remember how like he would run away from me if I try to hug him or kiss him? Like he's more open to, he cares about me. Like if I say ouch, he'll be like, Mom, you okay? Oh, okay? It's really cute. It's so sweet. But yeah, no, it's like, it's hard. The hard part about parenting is like making the best decisions. It's really hard. Like this whole COVID thing, right? Like all these moms that are like, half of them are like, I want to send my kid to school. Yeah. And I have been that judgmental, like to myself, like, oh, you're going to send your kid to like a war zone. Like, why are you going to do that?
War zone.
But yeah, like it's bad, right? Like you go, all these schools that have been opening, like the first day, by that weekend, everybody tests positive, right? Like, oh man, I'm just saying, like, that's an example. There's so many things, right? Like some parents put tablets or phones in front of their kids and some people are like, nope. And you know me, I'm like the hardcore, like, no, I don't want my kid, but I am that mom now. My kid sometimes I have to put something on and negotiate with him. Like you got to negotiate with a 2-year-old.
I see.
Just to make him eat food, right? Or to do something, right? Some kids are easier, some kids are not, but
you can't go like halal ham on him. Like, hey, no TV. I
have. And and then you put him in like timeout and they bawl and cry and then you feel like it's so hard because like you're trying to make sure you're not being mean to him and you're not going to psychologically, because if you understand, I think today's generation, I think we hear so much about mental health that we understand that our actions are going to make a difference when they're like 15, when they're 20. It makes a difference. Like I heard a lecture the other day. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I wish I did. But he emphasized on how like you respect, we never think about respecting your kid. Right? You want to teach them respect your parents, respect your elders, but we never talk about respecting them. Okay. And how if you tell them every day, oh, you're impossible, you're a lowlife, or why did I even have you? Or you know what I mean? Like parents say things like that sometimes, like I can't believe like I'm ashamed of you, or how am I supposed to be proud of you, or like this and that. They say things like that. Yeah. And when they say it all the time, it's hurtful, things, right? Yeah. But as a parent, like there have been times where Abbas has been like bad, crazy. Like he's done some crazy stuff, and I'd be like, man, like what's wrong? Like what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like this? Where like he's literally rebelling everything I'm saying, and it's not all the time. He does it certain days, so then I'll like naturally just comes out like, what's wrong with you? And Qasim's had to check me and be like, don't say that to him.
Yeah, he's a kid.
Because sometimes when you're not the angry one and you're hearing somebody from outside, and I admitted to him today, I was like, dude, I think that my patience has like my fuse, of course, with like my own issues, right? My own stresses of life. And then with the kid, with the toddler, your fuse just goes like quick for me, right? That's my own thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I think my patience has grown. And I was like, but you know what? I think my patience has grown too at the same time, where I understand that my fuse is shorter, but my patience has grown where I'm checking myself. Like I know. And when I'm getting in that point where I feel like I'm short fused, I hate how I feel. Like that's when my anxiety kicks in, because I'm just like, I am. Okay. And I'm like, don't do this. Like, why are you doing this? But I'm so stressed out some days. So what do you do
when you start noticing yourself getting a little crazy?
I don't know. I don't know what to do.
No, I mean, like, do you like step away, or do you like...
You can't. You're a parent, dude. You can't step away for a second. I mean, sometimes you can ask like the other parent to like, hey, there have been times where I've just be like, you know what? Your dad, go to your dad. Like, go. I can't deal with you anymore. But then you say these words and you're like, you want to cry because you're saying these things to a kid. And you're like, why am I saying that? I don't talk to my kid all the time like that. I love my child so much.
She never talked to a boss.
Yeah, I don't talk to him. But no, I mean, it's a challenge, dude. And especially working from home, like with COVID, it's a challenge. Like, but my main thing, I think that stresses every mom is like, or every parent is like, am I putting him in front of the TV for too long? Like, is this show going to be beneficial to him? Like, it has scary scenes. He's pressed on like dino scary stuff. Like he just likes to come, and then after like when it's playtime, he's just talking about the show, and he's like, "Whoa!" You always overthink everything as a parent. He's gonna be a
paleontologist.
I hope so. Instead of like a freaking somebody that tries to scare people all the time and fight. But it's like always like trying to teach him lessons. I started like looking into like trying to get him into like tajweed, you know, like from a young age. Yeah, like I've noticed like other people I follow online that are not really influencers, but people that have certain skills, and they do like they take on like there's one brother that has like really good Quran recitation, right? So I'm like, okay, he's young, he's our age. How'd he get there, right? So like now I find myself like I probably seem funny to outsiders, like where I'm inquiring for a 2-year-old how to get him right to a certain point. But it's just like sometimes people think, and I think growing up, like I always think about like how people are like, oh, it's my parents are so hard on me. It's their way, their understanding, maybe not the best way, but their way of showing like they love you, because they want you to be prepared. They want you to be prepared for the right things, right? So yeah, like other people, and people are so good about like judging other people's parenting, right? Especially people that don't have kids. They're just like, oh, like don't do this. And it is annoying.
Wait until you have your own.
Yeah.
Right? Like. And
that's what I say to you guys. I'm like, I'm going to beat your kids. I'm just kidding.
Kids, not get married. Ever.
Can somebody please?
No.
Anyways. But yeah, man, it's a challenge. Be easy on parents.
You know what it is, man?
Yeah.
I realize in the current state of affairs that I'm in now in my life, my parents did the absolute best that they could.
Yeah.
Like 100%, right? Sometimes growing up, I felt not because of their own, what they did, but because of societal norms, right? I felt that sometimes my parents, my dad, was not doing enough.
Yeah.
Right? Or why are you not understanding?
Yeah.
Or, why X, Y, and Z, like.
Why are you not caring? Like, oh, honey, are you okay? Like, rather than being like.
His parents.
Don't do that.
Are he never talks about his parents like this.
Yeah.
Like, I never hear a certain thing like that. But now I'm like, my dad did the absolute best that he could, right? With what he had, right? Same thing for, mom too.
Yeah.
But my mentality got all screwy because I put comparisons.
Of course.
Are a B, right?
That's what every kid does.
We need comparisons in certain regards, right? But not like that, right? So I think it's important for young folks to realize, hey, your parents are doing the best
they are. I mean, of course, there's some people that go through other challenges where like their parents may have their own issues on the side and maybe they aren't. But inshallah, for the most part, I think if your parents are being strict on you, like they are doing their best. They are just worried about you, because I can say for myself,
I'd rather have a strict parent than a not strict parent.
Me too. And you know what's funny is that I always thank my brothers. Like I've never actually, I should thank them in person and to them, but I always thank them behind their back.
Yep.
That they were around, like, to kind of know, like when I wasn't around the best people, right? Or not the best people. I won't talk about the people. Doing like around the best environment, right? People that didn't make the best decisions. They always questioned me more. Like my parents were like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I know that person. I trust them, da da da. My brothers were always like, where were you? What were you doing? And of course, everybody's like, oh, that's so annoying. Like my older sibling, like my parents said, yes, you're not my mom. You're not my dad. But I appreciate them because of the fact that sometimes you can get away with certain things, right? Like, oh yeah, like no, I could never like sleep over or go on this trip. Like if my parents say yes, my brothers will say no. And thank you to them, because I look back at what was done or what those things, like those surroundings, I would never want my child there, right? You know what I mean? Like, and it just is what it is. And like, I'm grateful. And that's one thing is like, I would tell my younger self is to listen to the people with experience. Because we think we know everything. We think we know everything at every stage of our life, and we don't. And I'll look back at my life, and I'm made plenty of mistakes I'm not proud of, and inshallah forgiven for. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just so much that I wish I had known.
I learned
and
a
lot.
I
did.
Yeah, I learned a lot from having friends who were in like upperclassmen, right? Like a few years ahead of me.
Yeah.
Right. And just. It doesn't have to be, hey, bro, tell me how to do this, right? Sometimes it can be like, hey, bro, tell me how to make my resume, or tell me how to, design this. Tell me how to apply for this job, right?
Yeah.
It could be direct, or if you just have friends who are older, right? You're naturally going to get some gems from them.
Maybe.
Right?
Or maybe. It could be.
Hopefully.
Yeah, the opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Belqees Razak.
This is too long. I hope you crop out 90% of this talk. I'm just kidding.
Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. May Allah bless you and your family. And inshallah.
Party time.
Yeah. Bye. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.
If you
I'm giving autographs. You can DM me if you want autograph. Maybe you guys can pay me since this guy. I'm just kidding.
Hey, okay. Food time. I'll pay you by food.
Actually, I have to go to my friend's birthday.
Okay, great.
Dinner.
Oh, yeah, you do. Crap. Are you serious?
I do. Sorry. Right. Sorry, guys. I know you wanted to stay and watch me eat food. Follow me on... Stop, dude. I'm an influencer.
I'm an
influencer.
I gotta pee.
Okay, bye. Bye. I'm just gonna go.
Bye, people.
Bye-bye.